One royal expert says King Charles is devoted to shielding Princess Kate from negativity with her cancer treatment. Royal watcher Neil Sean joins me. Neil, this source says even the family will be read the Riot Act, that's kind of British for laying down the law, if they utter a negative word about Kate. What do you know about this?
Well, again, what I would say is what we know, Stuart, is simply what they asked for. So this particular story, while it's a nice one, you could have put that to anybody. What we've done over here, particularly with the British media, is be respectful of what the Princess of Wales actually asked for, which is silence. But what happens is, every so often on social media, there's this thing trend, where's Catherine, where's Kate? The lady's recovering from a serious operation and ongoing treatment. So I think it's difficult, people, because they see His Majesty the King out and about, and he seems to have pinged back, we're now sort of thinking, well, where's Catherine? But I just think we need to remain respectful. And yes, regarding the family, I wouldn't assume anybody would speak out of turn, because that would be disrespectful, wouldn't it? Why would they?
Except for Prince Harry.
Hence the reason, though, Stuart, Prince Harry had a ring fence put round him, and His Majesty the King was a little too busy to see his youngest son. Terrible situation, but when you can't trust that family member, then that's the situation you're in. Hence the reason he wasn't allowed to stay in Windsor, allegedly, because, of course, that would be on the estate, and that's where the gossip goes. So it's very tricky.
Now, Harry's just back from the semi-royal tour in Nigeria. He's back home. What's happened to this his foundation, the Archwell Foundation? How's that going?
Well, I'm glad you asked this, Stuart. What a farce this has become, because as we found out, they only worked 1 hour a week on their charity. And then, of course, there's only 2 donations now, 2 major donations. And I know a lot of donations in charitable work have gone down over the last few years thanks to the pandemic. It's a phrase we don't know over here, actually, Stuart, called delinquent, where, they haven't filed their paperwork. We don't know it as that. It's just seemingly not filing their paperwork. This is bad news for the Archwell Foundation, simply because if they can't get that simple thing going, then what on earth is happening to donations? What are they actually doing with their charitable foundation? Now, I don't actually lay the blame upon Harry and Meghan, although they allege that they run everything. They pay a lot of people a lot of money, and they sort of claim that the check's in the post, then it was delayed, then they were issuing a check. Clearly, they're lying. Somebody in that operation is lying, and it would make it very difficult now for them to secure donations. And I think more importantly, and this is the interesting bit, Stuart, if you're the Invictus Games and you're looking at sponsors and all that sort of stuff, is Harry in charge of that? Because quite frankly, I wouldn't put him in charge of a piggy bank. It's not very good, is it?
Ouch. That one hurt there, Neil. King Charles, why has he updated his own funeral plans?
Well, this is, I don't mean this in a glib way, Stuart, but this is kind of a fun story, really, because somebody's taken this in the negative form. Every so often, when you are the reigning monarch, they update the plans, Now, I find this quite sort of two Ronnies, if you understand that comedy situation. It's a strange thing to know that every detail of your passing is now, stretched out upon you. And every so often, the monarch has to view them and sign them off. Now, what's happened is in the media, somebody's taken that as, oh gosh, Dr. Death's at the door type of thing. It isn't that. It's simply every 2 years, and this is what happens. Now, the Queen used to make quite a joke about it, which is a terrible thing to do, really, isn't it, when you think?
Well, interesting if you were the King or the Queen of England, I guess. Neil, thanks for joining us. Neil Sean, good man. Thanks very much.
A pleasure.